and welcome. My name is Thomas, and today we're going to be taking a look at the all-new Full Focus Planner. So about 2 years ago, the Michael Hyatt team came out with the Full Focus Planner, and I happen to have been using the planner ever since it first came out. It's actually become a very integral part of my daily workflow. For the longest time, I've used it to plan out daily and weekly tasks, as well as to kind of help track my progress in terms of things that have to get done throughout the day or throughout the week. Now in the past, I've done a number of videos in terms of my workflow, so if you haven't had a chance to check those out, I'm going to leave links to each of those videos below. Some of these include kind of in more detail how specifically I use the planner, as well as how I use the planner in tandem with digital software. But what I'm going to do today, since I've kind of already covered my workflow and how I use the planner, I'm just going to touch on some of the key points of the newest planner that they've come out with. One of the things that I have really liked about the Full Focus Planner, and in particular how they've handled the product development, is how closely they've listened to feedback from the community. One of the things I've noticed, particularly with a number of other brands and products, and this is kind of a lesson that each of us can take away for our own business, is that a lot of other brands that I've encountered or worked with or that sort of thing tend to go from one extreme or the other. The first extreme is that they just don't listen to anything that the customer says. They seem to be totally out of touch with what the customer wants or needs, or how they're actually helping them solve a particular problem. The other extreme is I've seen other products go downhill really quick because they listen to literally every piece of feedback possible, which ends up watering down the product and undermining the actual purpose for which it was originally created. The team behind the Full Focus Planner, on the other hand, has done a really good job, I think, of maintaining a proper balance between those two, sticking to a core fundamental list of principles for what actually helps make the planner useful, while at the same time accommodating in a number of the features that people have requested over the years. One of the most noteworthy things I've noticed about the new planner is the design. So no longer is it just one planner that you have to choose from. There's a wide variety of options out there. I opted for their executive style, which has a beautiful leather look. They've also kind of renovated or redone the complete interior design as well. So one of the things that they've done are end sheets on the inside, along with brandly redesigned interior pages. One of the things that I've always liked about the Full Focus Planner, and that they've actually improved even further in this new edition, is the lay flat binding. So I come from a background in the publishing industry where a lay flat binding is a special way to do printing. Most books, when you purchase them, you're going to see that you open it, and then when you lay it on a table, it's just gonna kind of snap shut on its own. A lay flat binding enables you to just kind of open it, kind of push down, and it just kind of stays open. That's really important for a planner, and I've seen a lot of planners that don't do this. I used to use a number of different other kind of regular notebooks, not really necessarily planners, and it makes it really difficult to use. I always found myself finding like a tablet or something else, or like a water bottle, and like setting it on the other side of the notebook so that I could actually write with one hand. This one, every attention to detail is included, not only in the way that it's laid out from the inside and how it sticks to the daily big three, as well as all the other fundamental pieces to the planner, but even on something as seemingly simple as the way that the book is actually bound. The other thing that I've really liked about the Full Focus Planner, and again, this is where a lot of other planners or notebooks have fallen through, is the paper thickness. The paper is nice and thick so that your pen doesn't bleed through. This is essential. I don't know why other notebooks don't really catch on to this, but for the Full Focus Planner, they definitely did. I actually use one of these kind of rollerball-esque pens, which put out a lot of ink, and when you have a lot of ink, you tend to have a lot of bleed through. So there's a number of other things that are really nice about the planner. Once again, as I've touched on in previous videos, I'm really big on the daily pages. And so they've done a good job of maintaining the kind of functionality of the daily pages while kind of revamping it and cleaning up the overall style of the daily pages. So that was a nice change to the overall style as well. One of the other parts to the planner that got a pretty big revamp is the weekly preview, which used to be known as the weekly review. The first couple of pages of the weekly preview is pretty close to the same, although the biggest change I noticed is that for the weekly overview, what they've done is they've split up into two sections, personal and professional, for actually reviewing or previewing the week ahead. So I liked that as a really good addition because I tend to use the planner for both. And then one of the other things which I thought was, which is a great addition, is that they've got on the weekly preview just big giant boxes for each day of the week. I think this is great because you can kind of use this as though it were almost like a weekly calendar that you can just kind of jot in and sketch in. I know I'm going to do a lot of sketching in here, but also one of the things I'm going to see myself using this for as well is I'm going to take projects and specific deadlines or tasks of those projects and pin them on specific days. So having something like that built in is going to be really useful, if for no other reason than just to kind of brainstorm and think through what you have to plan for in the coming week. And then of course as well, it has the weekly big three, which again is those big 3 tasks and or projects that you'd want to get done before the end of the week. And then towards the end of the Full Focus Planner, I use these, but I've never really touched on them in previous videos. They've got 3 sections at the very end, which I think are really useful. One is the notes section. Now, I've heard people talk about how there's just a few pages, so you can't really use it for daily note taking, which makes sense. That's mainly why they have a note page on every single daily view of the planner. What I like for this note page is this things that you can refer back to later. So if there's a specific quote or information or code or something that you just regularly access, just information that you like to have handy, the notes section works really well for that. Similarly, they've had in here as well a nice sketches section, which is great. So for someone like me who draws a lot or is always kind of wireframing or mapping out websites or designs, the sketches section comes in really handy. And then the last piece, which I don't use as much as I should have because of how useful it can be, is an index. This is a great way where if you ever have something that you write down in your planner that you want to refer back to, the index is a great way to do that. So for example, they've got a section in here for topic and then the page or pages. So let's say that you're working out something throughout the day and then there's something really important. Maybe it's like, something that you want to follow up with in a quarter, and you just so happen to have written it down on one of your daily notes in one of the days of the planner. What you can do is just jot down a headline or a note and then the page number, and you can always refer back to it as you're going through your day. You can always use that index in order to keep those things organized and easily findable as you continue to use the planner throughout the quarter. So kind of as a recap, as I mentioned, really well designed. All the changes that they've made have made the planner even better. I highly recommend it. If you're not already using the planner, you're definitely going to want to check it out. If we hop on over here, you can check out their website where they've got a list of all the different styles they have now. As you can see here, just a ton of different colors and styles, and even some of them have different interior designs. You can go through here and you can actually check out some of the different views in more detail than I've even shown in this video. But yeah, so they've got the classic style, the executive style, and the bold style. So just a beautiful variety. So you no longer just have the one planner, you just have a number of different options that you can choose from, and each of them are really well designed, really well laid out, and all kind of follow the Full Focus Planner methodology. Okay, so that was pretty much it. I know this is a shorter video, and no, this is not sponsored. I'm not paid by the people who make the Full Focus Planner. It's just a really useful tool that I like to share with you guys that's helped my daily workflow become more productive. So I highly recommend that you check it out. They've got a yearly subscription that you can get. This is, as I touched on, a quarterly planner. So if you're just kind of curious, if you're wondering if it's going to work for you, I'd recommend just jump in there and just buy a quarter and see if it works for you. If it does, then you can buy the year. But it's been a huge asset to my daily workflow, something that I use in tandem with my digital planner and my digital tasks and calendars, and has made getting organized much simpler and much easier. So as always, if you found this video useful, hit that like button, subscribe if you're not already, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.